All right, hey traders, TG Watkins here. Let me get this up and running. So good to see you guys. Very interesting market today. We've been seeing some weakness, and then we just got a pop up here. So who was saying it? Yeah, maybe Jerome Powell's speaking again, right? Thanks, Emil. Yeah. So let's take a look at this. Remember, simplertrading.com/Moxie if you guys are interested, and then we can dive into a few things that I'm seeing. We can also look at breadth. So this morning, the UVIX definitely dropped. And so we can see that the market was up. There was some strength. Now, what I'm looking for next is I want to see if this UVIX is actually going to start turning in through this area, because even though the market just jumped, the UVIX did not move. And I'm kind of wondering, I'm looking at this, seeing if this is a bit of a tell, because the market keeps bumping up against, it's just very stretched. It looks like an area that is going to be kind of not getting, like, obviously not getting sold into yet, but I just don't know how much further it's going to go. So I'm going to give it a little bit of leeway in through that area. Part of the other thing I'm seeing, the audio bad again, huh? Well, here, let me see if I can just log out and again before the Moxie group. So yeah, I've been having some mic issues, audio issues. I don't know. One day it's good, one day it's not. I'm not sure what the issue is. All right, so let me try this again for the Moxie group. All right, guys, let me know if that is any better for you. So if we look at this on the UVIX, yeah, it's the same. Gosh, guys, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe hop over to Facebook Meta, or YouTube or X if you want to keep checking out. But yeah, we'll go ahead with this. And again, not sure what to tell you. So I'm looking at this. We know that the market's getting stretched. We can even see that the UVIX is getting stretched. Not that this has been very reliable recently. You know, we kind of seen these pops and then fades, pops and fades. But I keep seeing that the 15-minute Moxie indicator on the UVIX keeps trending up, and it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And so it seems to me like something's going to be happening. And then if we also look at this with just the SPY, and we look in this area, I mean, this thing is up there. It's very up there. I mean, really, if we look, let me get this cleaned up for you guys. If we just look at this daily chart, haven't we seen this before? Kind of like right there, and we're kind of right in that area again. Obviously, the market's good. It's, well, you know, let me clarify that. There are some names that are doing really, really well. Let me show you breadth, and we can see a lot of people, you know, the internet is full of people talking about breadth right now, probably because, well, it's a thing to be talking about. It's like, what is going on? Why are only some of these things working? And so we're up here, it's just kind of against these resistance levels. And so far, and I got a little faked out yesterday. That was an interesting thing. We made new all-time highs, and then it just got rolled over. So that's why I'm like, I'm wondering if today is kind of gonna do the same thing. New all-time highs, and then they sell into it. So yeah, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to panic out of anything right here, because so far, you know, these pops have kind of been fading throughout the day. So I'm gonna be checking that out and seeing if that's kind of what's happening in through here. But yeah, we can just see that the S&P is getting stretched in through here. Maybe it's not today, but one of these points where we should see a decent pullback. First, I'd be looking for the hourly 21, which we haven't really gotten yet. I mean, we got a little bit of a pullback yesterday, but that wasn't even to the 21. I'm looking for something like at least to the hourly 21. You can see that here, even here, hourly 21, and then we'll have to see if it's going to go a little bit further. To kind of help correct things. But yeah, it's getting, as far as the indices go, it's getting a little bit, yeah, I wouldn't be long. I would not be long or starting a position on the index today with price up there. That's just not a good place to doing it. Yeah, thanks, Emil. I got SPX over on my right screen here, so we'll be watching that one too. And yeah, it just kind of keeps bumping up. And as I said, the behavior has been kind of gap up and then fade, and gap up and then fade. And this might be kind of like one of those, you know, like extreme gap up. Like keep pushing it, see what else we can do, and then they drop it. Yeah, our Moxie stocks are doing pretty well. I'll kind of run through some of those, and let me show you. I'll come back over here. Let me show you some of the internals. Now, I haven't really looked at or talked about this one for quite some time. This is new highs versus new lows. And interesting to see, the new lows have been pretty high, like steadily staying up here. So that's kind of a thing. New highs are doing pretty well. They're not awesome, but they're hanging out. They're doing okay. They haven't super dropped down like that, but they are less. So this is definitely a thin market. We have a lot of names making new lows. We have a fair amount of names making new highs, and everyone's kind of wondering like, well, what's going to happen? Because bad breadth is the talk of the town, and you can see the 20-day. I mean, yeah, the 20-day breadth has been neutral. Even the 50-day. Look how long the 50-day has been neutral. I mean, this is something I haven't seen for quite some time. I mean, maybe the last time we saw this was back when the debt ceiling crisis was a thing, and we were kind of seeing a lot of other stocks selling off, and then finally things turned around once they got it. So and then you could just see here, even the number of stocks over the 200-day basically hit a peak, and that might be the problem, is that we did so well up into this run that everything was too high, and now what they're doing is they're pulling the market down. They're pulling the rest of the names down. They're keeping the good names elevated, like AMD. We're doing great in AMD. Tesla's up, Apple's up, things like that. And so they're concentrating in those names. They're letting the other names come down, and it's a possibility that the market, the powers that be, are letting the rest of everything keep coming down so that they can then turn things back up. Okay. And then meanwhile, the mega caps are still doing okay. So those are some ideas to think about, how the market kind of works, right? It kind of works in that way. And even if we look at the IWM, this kind of stuff hasn't been going anywhere for quite some time. Is that a bad thing? Maybe not. Maybe it's really just basing. Okay. So that's an idea to kind of keep in mind. We could be seeing rotation happening at some point. And even the Dow keeps kind of hanging out. Really doesn't look bad. In fact, it's over all the moving averages. We've got some, let's see, divergence on I wanted this one on the Moxie indicator right there. And we've talked about this a long time ago on the hourly chart, and it's looking all right. So again, maybe there's kind of some rotation going on, and it's been happening for a long time because a lot of stocks are not doing well, but the ones that are doing well are doing fantastically, like AMD. Really, really happy about this one. So yeah, pretty happy about that right and through there. I even talked to the group yesterday, Moxie group. I said, hey, yeah, probably going to bounce off the 15-minute 50. We related this to Tesla, and we could see that Tesla has just been running the 15-minute 50. So, something like that has been doing just fine. So we're actually in the leveraged ETF, AMDL. And I think, what is it, up 35%, something like that. And Tesla with the leveraged ETF, we got somewhere upwards of 80. I'm sure it's up higher. I mean, in fact, look at that TSLL, because Tesla just keeps screaming. So we're in from about here. Need to change my tool. So something around here, and it's up, yeah, 100, 105%. Yeah, I guess I haven't looked at it too recently. Just kind of let it go, looking at the charts. Nice. So yeah, we're doing great in those. And then yeah, there's NVDL. So NVDA, if I can spell it right. So NVIDIA. Okay, yeah, NVIDIA's doing all right. So another name, another area that's doing pretty well. You can see it's holding the 15-minute 50 for now. The only challenge, the only question is, what's it going to do around its double top? Is it going to go up, flag, and then keep going? Is it going to come up, maybe pull back, and then keep going? So there's just a common thing around the double top that somebody needs to be careful about. So just be aware, coming up on a double top. AVGO, this is another one that has been discussed, and yeah, looking pretty decent. It's coming into its split, 10-to-1 stock split. A lot of stocks have been splitting, and they've been doing pretty well. A lot of stocks have been doing well with their splits. Also, Nancy Pelosi has been buying some big positions in AVGO. So let's see how long she can be correct for. It is funny. There's a Twitter account, Nancy Pelosi Stock Tracker, and they said that her husband, maybe even the company that's managing her money, sold out of Tesla just before it moved. That feels like a Cathie Woods kind of move. She sold all of her NVIDIA before NVIDIA then just absolutely took off. So you can't win them all, right? Can't win them all. All right. Let's see. So VGO. VCDL, huh? Is that the right one, Emil? VCDL? Or did you just type in, yeah, I typed in NVDA. Yeah, backwards. Okay. So we got that. And then some of the other ones I'm looking at, CART. We're in this on a very small position. As I said, I have been expecting this to pull back. And boy, we sure got a pullback, didn't we? But now we need to see if this is actually going to be holding up the pullback that I want. Is this going to be in the spot that this is what I want, you know? Now we have to see it hold. We have to see this thing actually do what it needs to do. It's too early. It would be a guess. I mean, I think this is a nice spot, but it would be a guess just to buy the low here. That's not kind of my style, is to just buy the dip. So yeah, we're going to have to see what this thing can do. And I want to see it turn. And if it can, then this is going to be a good spot. But we're going to have to give it a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. So yeah, let's take a look again. You know, the VIX has been low. The VIX doesn't tell us too much. I don't pay too much attention to the VIX itself. I prefer to actually look at the UVIX. And if we come over here and we look down like this, I want to see if this is going to get any kind of traction, otherwise, which is going to help indicate what the market's going to do today. So if we can get some traction here and it goes up, then yeah, we should see the market start kind of topping out, pull back, kind of like what we were seeing the UVIX yesterday do. So yesterday was pretty choppy for the market, but you can see that generally speaking, the UVIX was trending up. So yeah, the fact that it's down today, you know, it has been meaning some bullishness for the market. I just want to see how far this thing is going to go, because I'm not so sure about it. As again, the market is getting pretty far up there, and we should be expecting to pull back at some point, because I just feel uncomfortable to try and grab this thing up there. All right, so let's see what else. Amazon, is that finally at another pullback area? Yeah, and if you guys remember in the weekly video, I said that Amazon, don't be surprised if this thing flags or pulls back a little bit. You know, it's been up here around that third ATR, same kind of deal. I mean, it's like the S&P. It's like, hey, let this thing come down a little bit, and pop, 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 finally get on a drop. Now, maybe, so cash pot, you know, maybe that's a buyable area. I like to wait to see if things are coming down a little bit further and what to do with that. I don't see a setup to buy yet. It could go lower. I would like to see if it goes lower to give it a little bit more robust pullback area to buy. We've already taken a little bit of profits on it, and so I'm happy to just, you know, let this thing go and see where it's gonna pull back, because we can even see, you know, something like Reddit. You don't really want to buy when it's up here, you know, up in this area. Let it keep coming down, keep letting it come down, and we'll give it just a little bit more time on something like that. So as you can see, fair number of names are moving down and pulling back. You know, CART, Reddit, but then you got the winners: AMD, Tesla, even PANW, kind of doing like what Amazon is doing, pulling back a little bit. So we're just going to be patient, let this thing kind of see where it wants to go. Okay. Yeah, Emil, let me look at my other screen here. We'll have to see, is the SPX going to be heading to 5,600? You know, it might need to just get there in order to ring that bell. Yeah, we're like, what, two points away? I don't know if it hits there and then pins. Is it going to hit there and then roll over? But it might need that magnet of 5,600 today. Yeah, it might bounce off the 5,600 as a ceiling. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And we'll have to see if the UVIX is going to give us any kind of clue. I'm wondering if the UVIX kind of crunched today, you know, basically went down today in anticipation of, okay, we're going to go hit 5,600. So I kept looking at the options, and the option premium didn't really look like the market was going to head up there today, because those calls were so cheap, actually. I was like, oh, okay, they're not really expecting anything up there, or they're not expecting anything much beyond that. And so it's kind of my thought process and my theory for the day. So we'll have to see if that's correct. All right. Okay, so I got a couple more minutes here. I still have the carpet people coming over today, so I got to get the house ready for them. Got to move the car and everything. Went over AVGO. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Well, still up into, well, we 4th of July, we nailed that. The 4th of July, let me go back to the SPY, saying that it was going to be bullish going into that. Boy, did that work. Worked out very, very nicely. And, what we can see is we needed to figure out how the market was going to build in some room. And really, it went sideways instead of pulling back. We could see it had a nice sideways move, which got it closer to the 21 EMA. Didn't have to pull back into it, just had to get closer to it. And so that's where it went. And then now we're up again. And I'm like, 5,600, that might be that bell that it needs to ring. And then we'll see what it can do. Echo or what, aftershocks? A little bit of aftershock of that. Yeah. And so far, the market has been holding the 15-minute 50 right here, 15-minute 50, pretty darn well. And one of these days, again, trading is always about timing, but one of these days, I would imagine price is going to break below the 15-minute 50. And then we'll look at the hourly 21, and then we'll see if maybe the hourly 50 is in store. Again, kind of something like this. Overall, the market doesn't have to go down. It could just kind of go sideways enough that it actually turns into something like that. So we'll see. Again, that the breadth is something that a lot of people keep talking about, and that's like, what is happening with that? All right. Oh, and then yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering. Let's look at precious metals. Gold was a little finicky the other day. We're trading GDX, actually GDXU, which is the leveraged ETF, and you can see here, gold pulled back, fine. And look what it did. It pulled back to the hourly 50, Moxie indicator nice and high. And basically, we just need to see if this can continue. If this can continue, then fantastic. You come in here and we'll see if it can kind of keep moving up. I do think that the precious metals look pretty good. Space looks pretty good. SLV doing pretty nicely so far, holding. You could see it got a little stretched over the last two moves. Pop. You can see right there get a little bit stretched, and so far it's flagging probably into the hourly 50. It could still take a bit of a dip. I'd be okay with that. And we just, I think this thing's looking like it wants to do all right. Yeah, everyone waiting for the gold breakout. Well, I'm wondering if GDX is kind of presaging that, because look at that, GDX is actually running the crowd. So yeah, going to be kind of interesting on that one to see that GDX is actually doing really well. So, all right, guys, I'll leave you there. Yeah, precious metals doing well. We'll see about SPX 5600. It was like 2 points, 1.5 away from there. We'll see if it does it, if it's a bell. Yeah, Nugget, I'm waiting to close my call credit spread. Let's see. Let's look at the UVIX again. Not giving us any signals yet, but I'm looking at this, and the UVIX is getting into some boundaries here. And even if we look at the higher time frame, same kind of deal as the SPY itself, getting stretched. And it may not be today, but I would be careful about the index being all the way up where it is, because I'm seeing a lot of things that are saying, gosh, we should be getting a pullback one of these days. It may not be today, and then that's where our trade will be affected. So, but look at this, we are seeing some positive divergence on the 15. Not looking for anything huge, but it's time for a little bit of a refresh. Okay, so consider that with your trades. All right, guys, thanks again. I'll be in touch with you guys in the Moxie room, and we'll see what we can do. All right, thanks, guys.